All right, that's the market open. The first rate starting to come through. We've got what 20. It's red, flipping into the negative. 9-10 points, 12 points, 24,818. Flattish start actually. 60 points down on the Sensex, 81,285, and this is basically what you have in terms of the opening rates. So very, very quiet. Now the Bank Nifty is down about 100 points, about 0.25% lower that is. And I think the mid and small cap indices perhaps better because you can see the market breadth in terms of how stocks are starting out. And that is in the positive, 2:1 in favor of advances. Small cap index is up about a quarter, mid cap index is more flat. I think we'll have to go straight to stocks because as far as indices go, not very much.
Absolutely. So, the top mover right now is NTPC. NTPC actually reported a good set of numbers and a lot of brokerages have raised their target price on the stock. Jefferies has raised it to 485, which is a big upside to the current market price. So that's your top gainer on the index. Apart from that, you have Power Grid, Asian Paints. M&M comes out with numbers tomorrow. Ahead of that, the stock is up in the green. So keep an eye out there. Dr. Reddy's, Titan and Adani Ports are a couple of other stocks. Stocks in the news, Colgate, let's take a look at that one. Strong earnings, revenue growth of 13%, high single-digit volume growth in the toothpaste segment. That's really, off the charts right now. So 3% higher on Colgate. ACC, let's look at that one. The volume growth was not bad, 9%, but the stock in pre-opening was seeing a little bit of pressure. In terms of result reactions, I want to look at data patterns because the earnings were very strong. The EBITDA growth was 34%. The margins have improved quite a bit. The stock has gained quite a bit over the last many weeks and months, so maybe some profit taking right now. And a couple of other names, Maruti, M&M will be reporting their earnings tomorrow. So ahead of that, these two stocks will definitely be in focus. There's a large trade that has taken place in PNB Housing as was expected. So keep an eye out on that. PNB Housing now down about 1.5%. And on the upside, ITD Cementation has some positive business updates going for itself. So ITD Cementation is up almost about 1.5%.
Well, that's right, Sonia. Let's highlight a few more movers. Pfizer, the first quarter's numbers were quite good. Revenues are up only 6%, but EBITDA was up by close to around 60%. So that one, in fact, the margins had come in excess of around 31%. That explains why that's running away. Idea Foods, that's casualty of the morning. The revenues came in lower by 11%. The margins as well have contracted to just around 4%. Remember, this one had listed with solid gains. For the time being, the one's getting clobbered. It's down close to around 10%. So big downtick is what we're seeing on that one. Zentech, we just had the promoter joining us on the show and in fact sounding very, very optimistic about the year. They're saying they're going to be doubling their revenues at around 900 crores, sticking to the export guidance as well of around 300 crores. And also mentioning that there could be a QIP and inorganic growth in the offing. So it's up close to around 4%. A few more notable movers. You have Maharashtra Seamless. Numbers are very disappointing. In the next 20 minutes, we'll know why. The stock is down close to around 5%. And Jindal Saw, well, that should have opened up well in the green. Margins holding at around 17%. Solid order inflow as well. That's something that the street likes. That one as well. Flying away as we speak. Another big mover actually is, Asahi Songwon. That's up close to around 15%. Volumes are only around 200,000 odd on that one. So maybe lower volumes. But that one, in fact, is up big time as we speak. Prashant.
We were talking about NTPC, so keep an eye out on that. 2.25% higher. It's a solid start. And maybe the other it's the entire ancillary space as well, right? There is the utilities, there are equipment companies, transformer companies, financiers. NTPC is the flag bearer, the torch bearer for the sector. I mean, NTPC says, well, they want to add capacities in the future. It needs to be financed, equipment needs to be supplied. Of course, prices and valuations will matter, but for now the stock is higher. I'm looking at REC. It's kind of flat right now. Look at Power Grid. Power Grid is up about 1.5%. And maybe some of the other big movers in the transformer, smaller companies really. These are the big ones. I mean, names like the financing side, and of course the utilities like NTPC and Power Grid as well. In the broader market, Colgate is starting to see some attraction once again. It's up 4%. Suzlon is up 3.5%. Crompton, I think we mentioned it. It's up 5%. ITD we mentioned. Paytm is starting about 3% in the green. CESC, we had that interview with our colleague Shireen interviewed Sanjeev Goenka. 4% higher on CESC, stocks at about 174. And the other one, which is Philips Carbon Black, again a Sanjeev Goenka Group company, 3.5% higher. Those are the two companies, and very aggressive guidance from Mr. Goenka to us yesterday in that interview for both these businesses, especially for Philips Carbon Black. Nuvama had a big day yesterday on the wealth management side. It's up another 3% or so. 6199 is where Nuvama is now trading at. And there was 361 as well, which did very well in terms of trade. And we'll see if that is true right now as well.